to order at 6:02, please.
I changed a couple of spellings and phone numbers before I printed it, but it's the same thing as you did. That's all.
Okay. Entertaining a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll just give this one.
Second.
Unless I need to discuss it.
Is there any discussion?
6:02, you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just keeping up with the calendar.
And we have a motion to approve in a second. Minutes?
Irvin will.
He made the motion? Okay.
No discussion? Okay, cut up.
You're
All
going
those in
quick.
favor?
You're going quick here.
All those in favor, I went out of here. All those in favor of approving the minutes from April 11th, 2017, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Additions or deletions to the agenda? Did you want to add under other business, Craig?
I do, I just have to find my, but I already, yeah, there's an opportunity for a joint meeting with the Jamaica Select Board. That'll come in under the business. And I'll describe that when we get there. So,
Okay.
And that's all I got. No, you already got the RFPs.
Okay,
On board there.
all right, then let's zip through the warrants because there's not very many of them.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 1 out of the payroll in the amount of $8,392.97.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
There's a lot of time on those, just checking roads.
Anything else? Any other discussion?
Trees, yes.
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of paying payroll warrant number 1 in the amount of $8,392.97 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
1 abstention? Motion passes. Are there 3 signatures on that warrant?
You seconded that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 2 out of the taxes in the amount of $3,418.96.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying withholding tax warrant number 2 in the amount of $3,418.96 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 3 out of general fund in the amount of $6,251.24.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying general fund warrant number 3 in the amount of $6,251.24 signify by saying aye.
Aye. Second.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 4 out of the highway fund in the amount of $283.72.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying highway warrant number 4 in the amount of $283.72 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the highway fund in the amount of
It
$862.80.
should be actually equipment, that was my fault.
It's good.
It's equipment.
Make a motion to pay check warrant number 5 out of the equipment fund in the amount of $862.80.
Herb seconds that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying equipment warrant number 5 in the amount of $862.80 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So that takes care of the warrants. So, moving on. On to business.
Thanks.
So Kurt, do you have
Yes.
anything that you would like to report?
I do. Street sweeping, we have to have our street swept.
Now, before we go any further with that, would you define have to have?
Yeah, it's part of the things he adopted, the complete streets thing. I wish I brought a copy.
Well, I have a copy of the state standards and it's not in there.
In the complete streets?
I don't know about complete streets.
Well,
I
that's
have
a
state standards.
thing we adopted. Like we're supposed to have law enforcement for our highways and stuff like that. That's all on the complete streets.
You don't believe it.
Well, I'll find them.
We've talked to different people and they say, no, you don't have to every year.
I got a
And
copy.
I wrote up I rode up, through Athens Road, and I rode up, Grafton Road, and ran enough sand there to pay.
There shouldn't be, we don't use much sand on those roads.
Well, that's right, so that's why you sweep, you don't sweep a dirt road.
So is it part of the road and bridge standards?
No.
It's not part of that, because it is
That's the
certainly,
only thing we've adopted.
this is
that
the
I
only
know
thing
of.
we've adopted.
Complete streets, I was told we did, I have a copy of it.
Well, I'd like to see it before we make contact and have that done, because that's a fairly substantial
Oh,
bill
I know what it is.
for very little gravel that's on most of these
Usually get
intersections.
they usually dump 6 or 7 times in a truck. Get 3 or 4 loads in a dump truck.
Well, I'd still like to see it, number one, and before we make any approach to the company to have them come over from Keene to actually do it, because
Not a problem.
it's gotta be based on something, and I don't have the paperwork to back it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what,
Sure, I'll give you a whole copy of the complete street.
That'd be great, so we could have a copy on the file.
Yeah, we need an RFP for mowing.
We talked about that.
Yeah, it's going in the paper here shortly.
It is, okay? Yep. Paving, we're gonna do an RFP for paving. You want me to do one, a rough draft, and you can,
I've got ones from the past. What are we paid?
from the Grafton line this way,
Grafton line, how far?
as far as we can get. with
That's
it.
what we
I'm just gonna do an overlay on it, yeah.
Alright, so, need paving, I'll get a generic, we'll fill in the
Huh?
details.
You got any idea what the price is gonna be this year?
I don't, I haven't talked to anybody. I have not talked to anybody.
Now, is this something,
No, I mean, if we knew roughly, I could tell you pretty close if I had the price, just where you could wind up, but,
It hasn't changed much in years past. I don't know if oil's gone up, I think it has,
yeah, but
a little
I
bit.
don't
Well,
say,
the price of crude is down right now, though. But
price of oil gone up the way it has, it can't help but probably be more expensive.
Right, but it's actually held for 3 years, at least with the bidders that we've had. It's been pretty steady, at about $70 a ton.
Rob,
Let's say until I know what the price is, you know, what money we got divided into the.
Well, you know
well,
what you
certainly,
get for a
let's see how
budget.
much money we have.
right?
Yeah,
But,
but I mean, you gotta divide,
right, well, you gotta look at what
get
your
your,
project. you
get
gotta
your
look at what your
formula
project-
and divide it in there by the price per ton.
Right,
We
figure out
did,
your budget, and,
there's nothing in here for paving this year, is there?
actually, there should be. I do believe. I gotta have to, let's see, that's comparative budget. You need to compare. You've only got a budget stats.
Right.
You don't see
Right.
next year. I'll get you next year's.
Well, you're talking about paving after the first of the year or now?
no.
After the first of the
Oh,
year?
yes.
Yeah, because this year's is done. We're over on this year.
No, for next, after July.
Yeah, I could say after.
But I gotta get them out of there. The little towns, I'd like to put you off.
To the end, and I don't want it to be cold and stuff.
Better to do it in either July or August.
It would be nice.
Is that the only paving
Yeah.
for this year?
Bob DeServo and I have been together twice. We've come up with a list of trees, priorities. We gotta tune it up, and, I'm gonna get it to Craig, and we're gonna talk about what we're not gonna do by the lines and stuff like that, and what we feel a company should do.
Okay, I'll back up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
How many of the hazard trees that you've identified are in fact going to need to come down professionally? Do you have any idea?
I do not know.
Okay, what areas have you focused on looking at?
So far, Route 35, Athens Road and Grafton Road.
Okay, that's it,
That's it so far.
okay?
And I wanna do, huh?
Roughly how many trees in those 2 roads?
Oof,
Just roughly,
I don't know, 30?
okay? Because what we need to do is, we didn't budget for tree removal
Right.
this year.
Mhm.
So we need to do it in little small groups. And I think the best way to do that is to get these trees identified and then come back and let Craig put together a plan
Yeah, that's
of
what-
different sections
That's what I was gonna do.
of trees that can come down, and as we can afford to pay to have them taken down, we will do so.
And we want to do the high-speed roads first.
I wanna do Windham Hill, Grafton Road after.
Well, you want to do your most hazardous trees first. In fact, 2 weeks ago, when Kathy and I were talking, it was actually the board that was talking about her tree down at her
And the hazard
property.
tree.
And we mentioned it.
And
It
that
was
was
only 14 feet from the center of the road, but anyway, I was about to call tree cutter, but I called Bob, and I said, do you have any others? Because it's not worth them coming up for one tree.
Right.
And there were a couple of little trees beside it, and they could kill a couple hours doing it. So I asked Bob if he had a couple other ones. He didn't get back to me. in time before Easter Sunday, and the tree
Before
came
it
down,
came
took
down,
out, yep, took out the power lines, and people couldn't have dinner for a couple hours
But
on Easter.
also, that road is 49.5 foot wide there, not just 14 or 18 feet.
I didn't know what the width was there.
You take up there and then you go up Plum Hill, it's 4 rods wide. Townshend Acres Olive, it's 50 feet. And a lot of these others are, they can run anywhere from 25, 30 to 49.5.
But even if it was 29, it would still be in the right of way, depending on where the center's
Right.
moved to.
Yeah,
If it has
it may not road, if it's a stone wall and stuff, you more or less gotta go from a stone wall because that probably was put in before the or but at the same time some of the roads are. But if you got stone walls both sides, like we had on the Hall Road,
A lot of stone walls are in the right of
we
way.
tried to stay in the stone walls, but that road is wider than what the stone walls are.
You got houses,
Why don't we just
you
got
got
the trees
houses
down
in the
and
right of
go down
way in
and
some
follow them
places.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went through that garage at
50
Royal Clutch, we had an awful time. Apparently, we got a paper signed on it that would, if they ever come up for highway purposes, they'd
Is-
have to
is
do
garage-
something with the corner of that garage.
There's garages in the right of way.
There's several buildings in right of ways in this town. We don't wanna talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
this. Anyway, did you have something else for us?
Just here and there. Yeah, I gotta do the brakes, I started doing the brakes on T8, gotta get it inspected, I couldn't get the brakes to come up on it, so. Let's see, I need to make a sign order, I gotta upgrade my sign inventory, which is no big deal, I'm just gonna do the signs and fill out the paperwork again for Windham Regional.
For which signs?
Street signs, road signs,
Street signs?
yeah,
We just did the road signs. Or
Right.
as in the name signs.
and the name signs, right. A couple need to be replaced because they're
Okay.
missing and a couple posts are broke and then I gotta redo my inventory. They want an upgraded inventory. Then in 5 years after that, you do a right around inventory again, just like the culverts.
But there's one thing when we're talking signs.
Yeah.
Can't you guys stop and straighten out that one up by Valley Cares there that they hit?
did.
Oh, you did straighten it?
I did,
But I know the other day it wasn't, cause I looked at it.
I did straighten that sign.
Because, well, no, what I'm talking about, the sign itself is bad.
Yeah. The sign, you mean the one that was laid over like this?
There's
No,
one,
no.
there's one with a double post, the intersection with Route 30 that was knocked over a little bit.
Yeah.
You can still read it, but it needed to be straightened up, but it had 2 posts on it, and across
Yeah,
the
that
street
two-
from that,
That two post is right by the hospital.
That one's bad.
across the street
Yeah,
from
and
that, there's
above
a
that-
pedestrian sign that.
Yeah, pedestrian crosswalk or something, they must have gone up through with a grader or something with a high, and they folded it around.
Is that one by Amy DeWitt's?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I did not straighten that one. But the other day, the guys went out and they were.
No, I'm gonna say, I didn't think it was bad.
No, but the one that was laid down, I did. The guys were out working on signs and stuff and we gotta take the time. We're just trying to get everything graded this year. I'll do everything. Windham Regional, they have, they have these road foreman's meetings, informational meetings in all the towns, trying to do one a year, host one a year. She called me and she asked if, they could use the town hall for a couple hours, Windham Regional for a road foreman. They want town managers there, the select board members are welcome to come. I forget what informative meeting this is. For a couple hours on May 30th or 31st.
They have to call the town clerk to see if the building's available.
Schedule, okay.
And then, what day was it?
The 30th or 31st.
What day?
That's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, after Labor Day weekend.
After Labor Day?
Memorial Day,
After,
Labor Day would be Monday.
what time of the day?
noontime.
Noontime, so in other words, it's going to disrupt the function of this building, that's my point.
Memorial Day is Monday, Thursday.
I can host it in the town garage like we've done before.
Well, the thing I would suggest is they call Anita and find out what's going on, because the hospital uses this building as well. And to make sure that it's not already a conflict.
It's a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Memorial Day is the 29th on Monday. Tuesday's the 30th, Wednesday's the 31st.
So yeah, they'll need to call her and just verify the use.
That's all I have.
Okay, now I have a couple for you. The network inventory have you gotten that finalized as far as
No, I
when
have
you're
not.
going to go?
I haven't nailed it down on a day yet.
Okay,
I've called them a bunch of times. It's gonna
is
be,
it going to be relatively soon?
yeah,
Because don't we have to have that in before they would award the structure grant?
Well, I talked to the state about that, and if we had it on our agenda, we would, you know, in
So-
line, we would be okay with the structure grant.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be completed by the time we.
Right.
Okay.
That's what they told me.
And Plum Road, stabilization, have you begun that?
No, I haven't done that.
No, I said, have you begun?
Have I begun?
Yeah.
No.
So have they moved the pole yet?
Yes, they did move the pole, and they did get the guy wires. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So the dirt that's going up the mountain is not related to that stabilization?
No.
Okay.
I gotta get the roads done.
You know, spray grading on everything first before because I got 2 culverts I have to replace right away as soon as I get things in order.
Okay, the next thing is the backup attendant for the transfer station.
Friday, I have a meeting with them at 9 o'clock.
All 4 of them?
Yes.
Or 5 of them, however
4.
many it was? Okay, so then you'll come back to us with some type of recommendation as who could
Sure.
perform the duties and who could not?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the Bridge 42 grant application, that was the one that we got caught behind the 8 ball on time-wise. And that grant was actually submitted, three of us did discuss it. And that grant was submitted with the understanding that we're gonna put it out to bid. And if in fact the numbers don't match the numbers on the grant, then we won't accept the grant from the state. So at this point in time, we need to ratify the decision to send that grant application in for the grant funds.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on what happened and why?
Why is the
Kurt
grant late?
spoke to us at the meeting, the last meeting we were at.
Right.
Which was April 11th, haha. And then I asked him at that meeting when that grant was due, and he said he wasn't sure, but it was soon.
Okay.
Well, soon turned out to be Friday.
I called up Thursday, right?
And he called us Thursday and said it's gotta go in by noon tomorrow.
Or
And-
Monday.
And so it was a scramble to try to get 3 of us together to decide
To do
what
it.
to do.
Yeah.
And the decision was to go ahead and submit it and then ratify that decision at this meeting,
Okay.
okay?
And Rob weighed in, Irv and Kathy were here, so.
Okay.
And I guess they've talked to you as well, didn't you talk to Craig? Steve?
No.
No? We missed
Didn't
you
do all of it.
altogether, huh? I'm
He
sorry.
was working or something. But we had a quorum, so.
Okay,
All
so
right, but we did get it in.
it
Correct.
did make
Okay.
it
It
in.
went in hard copy, it went in by scan. We emailed it in and copies to, somebody, can't remember his name, that's on my sheet, but somebody up at the State Department copied Mark Becker. And I've got copies here.
So then, there's a motion to ratify, and there's a second. Is there any further
Is there a
discussion?
second? Well,
Yes.
we did, yeah.
Is there any further discussion?
Do we have, this is a little bit of an aside, but is there a calendar of due dates for grants and projects
Wouldn't it be nice?
somewhere?
What
so
part of
that-
a town manager don't you understand?
I was just curious if it already exists
Well,
or.
I mean, the same things happen every year, and before the end
Right.
of the fiscal year, the state likes to know how much it's gonna spend next year.
Right.
So it divvies up the grants based on applications, so usually grants are due by end of April anyway, sometimes a little earlier than that. Applications for loans and things like that are either,
Twice a year.
April
Spring or
15th
fall.
and November, yeah, April
Right.
15th and November 15th, twice a year. But there are a number of things that have to happen in the winter, before town meeting, and then right after town meeting, in order to get things in the
Keep
queue.
everything
It's like
going,
your
right.
local emergency operations plan is due next week.
Well, and it's the same way with the grants and the closeouts on these grants. You know, whenever you do the project, you have X amount of time to close it out.
Right.
Get all your paperwork into the state and jump through all those hoops as well. So there are a lot of deadlines that you're
Constantly
reaching
working with,
for, right,
right.
or
Well,
reaching
the
towards.
state has deadlines, however, if you spend the money, $178,000 that we're hoping for in a grant, or at least 90% of it, we spend that comes out of the general fund. You then ask for reimbursement. That can take a little while, because they don't have that deadline for writing a check.
No, they
Right.
don't.
So, you know, you gotta balance things, juggle things for a while, because you're gonna be on the hook up front for what you're
For
doing.
quite a while.
Right, and then for years thereafter,
Sometimes.
sometimes.
All right, so is
Okay.
there any further discussion on that?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor of ratifying the submission of the Bridge 42 Structures Grant, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Motion passes. So, I'm looking at all the weird notes I've got written all over here. I think we've hit all the topics, to the best of my knowledge.
I gotta get a hold of you sometime and get a hold of Chris Ames and we'll go and take a look at that. I know what you said.
It hasn't changed.
Nothing changes ever.
You hadn't named one last since you showed up the other night.
Well, it's now over a year since that one started.
So,
It's first meeting in May. She talked to you before you brought it to the select board.
Oh, yeah.
But she called the select board members and they visited
I
privately.
told her too.
thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. If there's nothing else, then thank you very much for popping in.
That's what I told him before he left.
Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
See ya.
All right, then let's, I'll entertain a motion to take the agenda out of order and move down to the 2017 LEOP.
So moved.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules and moving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion passes. Okay, so I don't know if did they all get a copy? Or did I get it?
No, I think everybody got a copy of the LEOP. They may have taken, a lot of people picked up mail earlier on, but that's it right there.
Looks like this one. So anyway, we have,
This is Sherwood Lake, he's your emergency management director, you appointed a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Second term around.
second term around.
basically, we also need to, for those of you who are new to the board, it has to be done every year. We have to approve this. So I'm sure there's been some changes. The state always makes changes. Perhaps you could highlight those for us?
Basically, there's not much of a change this year other than appendices for different planning programs. One of the things that I'm going to work on this year as my main goal is expanding that out into a book form so that it can be here in the town hall. It can be, a copy can be with Craig, a copy's on my computer. And what it does basically is give you a running list of what to do.
Right.
If everything falls apart, at least you can go back to this and say, okay, here's where our emergency declaration and request from the governor is. Here's where our status report is. And all of that is basically generated off of this document.
Here's
which
what you
is-
do to declare an emergency.
Right, absolutely. And it'll be broken down into those sections. And there's some flood guidance that come along. The biggest change in that document from last year is there's been a couple of people. The contact person at Grace Cottage changed. The contact person over here at the high school has changed. That
The elementary school's going to change.
going to change soon. So those types of things have been changed in there. As far as the actual document itself goes, there's nothing, they just put 2017 on it. That's it.
There are things in the works, as I understand. There is legislation, there is continual monkeying, to put it in a polite phrase. They will be adding things to this, but for right now, for this spring, for this year, this is pretty much good to go.
And it's another one of those things on those timelines that you were asking about, that May 1st, and there's always penalties if it isn't done, so it's been done for about a week. I finished it the 1st of April, and submitted it to Craig.
I have to certify this. That always ticks me off. Why is it me?
Well, you don't have to.
Good.
Anybody that
You
goes
just
through
put
the
my name in
IC,
there, huh?
well, everybody that goes through the ICS 100, 200, or 402 can sign off of that. I've done those two things. I did those the first of last year. The only thing about it is if the board signs off it, the chair signs off it, you all know what's going on. It's not being submitted. Matter of fact, in the guidance to submit it, it requires the board to vote on it. So I just left it the way it was.
That's fine.
It just seemed to be clearer, more simplified. But I do have the ability to sign off on it if you direct me to.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the LEOP for 2017.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on it, or any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the LEOP for 2017, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. So thank you.
Just need to-
Yep, I figured as much.
I'll get it submitted to Windham Regional.
Thank
Is that the copy I gave you?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Where do you want it signed?
Right, basically in there. They don't give you any space to do it, but right in there.
Okay.
And I'll make those adjustments on the master that you added.
Yeah, I'd say, I think I just put in my home phone number, I changed her email address,
Okay.
so that she could get another, be on another mailing list or 2 or 3. Well, somebody gave them the wrong email address, so you weren't getting any of it. So we corrected that.
Yeah, I wonder
Thank you
who may have
very
done that.
much.
Just trying to be helpful.
Yeah.
You want a copy of the signed thing? I'll
No,
email
I
it
can,
back to you.
yeah, give me a copy for the folder, but the photocopy's fine, just the front page. That's fine.
Okay.
If Alyssa gets it, when the regional gets it, that's all I really care about.
I guess I got an email from her with a whole list of people that hadn't submitted them yet.
I get them every day.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be on the spam list.
Right?
Anyway, thank you very much
You are
for
welcome.
taking care of that and bringing
How
it
did you
in.
get that in the spam? Okay.
They can look up and get it.
Anyway, you all should have gotten a copy of the,
Thank you, Sherwood.
of the counter money from the
Yes.
town clerk. And Joe, do you have a? Oh, okay.
No, I scrunched it up, keep it on one page.
Between the two, you have $757,347.32. And this morning, when I got turned out of the office, I had almost $35,000 to go to the bank.
Were you bad today? You got
Well, I
thrown?
get sold out every day.
Okay. Just so we're well aware of why you're delinquent and why you have to leave and go home, sit in the corner. Okay.
Put him on a stool and dump that.
Evidently, well, come here, he'll be in the corner here by the time clock, on his stool, won't you, Joe?
We're holding our own, we're only down 2,000 from last meeting.
Okay, so,
Town clerk is in quite a little.
yeah. The correspondence, we did receive our final paperwork from the Army Corps on the map or for the dam culverts that we had to replace during Irene,
Yeah.
when we had to,
When we had to
for an
fight.
easement.
Oh, that's not the
We
project.
got a
that's the-
temporary easement to do the installation, and then we had to get a permanent easement out of that. It took them a year to get a signature on it. But you guys signed it, I can't remember, a month
Last
ago.
week or the week.
No, it was a while back. I mailed it in and it's come back, countersigned, and
So now
she gave it
it's
to Anita
ready
for,
to be filed, so that's all,
that
legitimate.
goes in land records.
We now own it.
We own the, we
Are
have,
we-
We own the use of it.
we have right to the easement.
But they owned the other one and we replaced it.
Well, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it is.
All right, then I'm assuming that, let's just go ahead and do on the swale. You and Kurt were talking about the fact you're going to go over and take a look at that? Okay, so we don't need to deal with that under old business. So town manager, administrator study committee update.
Yep, we had a meeting last night. We've gotten a lot of information from surrounding towns. I've been talking to former select board members. We have decided that it probably is a good idea to talk to all the players in the building, so we've set up, you guys will all be contacted as well as people that work in the building, just to do interviews, gather information on what they do, how they do it, things that work, things that don't, stuff like that. And we're now gonna start moving forward in trying to define the possibilities. We're looking at basically like 4 possibilities. One being do nothing. One being keep the structure the same with some modifications and job descriptions.
Whose job description are you planning to modify?
Well, we're still gathering information on that. Maybe Craig's job, if we decide that, if the board decides, based on the recommendations, that we don't need to hire another person, but we could modify existing structure to make it work. And then, you know, it's town administrator, town manager.
Well, I'm still a little bit confused because I haven't read your minutes from last night. And I'm still a little bit confused about the lack of quote-unquote direction and the fact that I thought it was very clear that what we asked you to do when we were in the lister's office that time was to come back with a clear, concise difference between a manager and the town administrator.
Yeah.
And as I told you at the time, I don't quite understand how this has gotten lost in the mix. I did notice that now when looking into the legal definitions of those,
Yes.
I believe Mr. Moriarty
Yes,
is
he
supposed to be
is.
looking at
He
that.
is looking into
So it
that.
sounds like we're finally coming around to that
Yeah.
particular piece. But
Yeah.
that's what the board basically asked to have done, was
Mm-hmm.
for the committee to come back to us and explain the differences between a town manager, a town administrator, and the legal wrangling that needed to happen to
Okay.
get to either of those two positions.
All right.
You know, so I think that would make it very clear for the board as to what
Right.
what we're even discussing before we get into things like job descriptions and or changing job descriptions or even the inner workings of this particular building.
Talking to Kurt.
Yeah, because
Right.
I'm a little bit confused about what information you're going to be able to gather from Kurt Bostrom, for example, that is going to help us make a decision between the style of government that we want to promote for the voters.
There is a substantive difference between a manager and an administrator. And
Yeah,
it's
well-
really easy to look up, I mean, by statute, by law.
Yes.
And we have a charter here.
Yes.
There is a difference that has an impact on what a recommendation might be, or how a board might deliberate on going in one direction or another.
Or another.
Depends.
Yeah, exactly.
And one might lead
Right.
to another, or
And that's exactly why we felt.
or vice versa.
We felt, and I feel that it is important to get a little bit of background, a little bit of history of how it works now, so that we can make some sort of recommendation that will make sense and hopefully help the town improve its situation.
And that's definitely the whole goal here, is to make it the town improve.
Right, exactly.
But from the tenure and the tone of the minutes from last night's meeting, it certainly sounded like, in a lot of ways, every other town but Townsend had their act together. And I don't think that.
Oh, no, that's not, maybe that didn't come through in the minutes, but there's been a number of discussions of things that have worked and have not worked
Okay.
in different towns, and trying to glean some of the reasons behind that and figure out what the better, not better course of action, but a better defined option. So we're not necessarily trying to recommend a specific thing, we're giving the board options.
Exactly, that's what we asked for.
But we
didn't
wanted,
ask-
we wanted them to be well-defined options and not too broad and too vague to not be able to be easily considered.
Yeah, but believe our charge at town meeting was to come back to the voters with a job description and something else. I don't remember what it was.
It was
well, it was
Recommendation
legal-
and job description.
Recommendation for, yes, yeah.
Okay.
And that was the charge of time, and in the meeting that we had, in particular, there were a couple of people, having watched it and read the minutes and so on, that did not think that there was a clear charge to.
At that point, there wasn't a town meeting.
Right, no, I mean the meeting after, where we formed the committee. There was just a feeling that as a board, we weren't sure what we were looking for specifically. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that was the feeling that the rest of the committee,
Okay.
to myself, to some extent, I agree. But I think what we're trying to do is gather enough information to make educated recommendations, present complete formed thoughts on options.
Like I said, I think you're finally coming around to what needed to happen, and that's to interview the people that are currently caught in the mess.
Yeah.
To see where the holes are and where those holes need to be plugged.
Yeah, that may not have been reflected in the meeting, but that has been, I think, from the jump. We were coming to that. We spent some time just looking at other whole towns rather than trying to get a little more of a bird's eye view.
Of
Until
what's
we get
going on here.
Until we get into specifics.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's see. The RFP for the recycling, we did get 2 bids today.
We did 2 out of 7.
I don't even know who
They're even sealed.
because I got them, I took,
Holy,
I actually
we're
caught them.
stepping up.
I know, I did good, didn't I? Okay,
Rumble.
so this would be good now. Let's see, we got multiples here. Oh, good, Irby, you can have one, and you can have one, and Steve way down there, Robbie, you're nice there, how's that?
That's good.
Okay, and we just have to, there we go. Municipal solid waste. Did we, specifically, what was the RFP for? Because now I'm really confused.
I thought it was just
Of course,
for
yeah.
compost.
This is,
wasn't
no, compost we already did.
This is
Oh, right.
recyclable.
Triple Tree last week gave us a bid, and that was solicited by, Windham Solid Waste Management for that, because.
That was the group.
They're
bid that we
soliciting,
looked at,
right,
right.
they're soliciting the pickup on the food scraps, because they are intent on taking those food scraps, and I have a copy, I just have that in there. I have a copy of that RFP for, I just shuffled them, I was looking for, the LEOP because I changed the LEOP for
Exactly.
For sure.
Construction demolition
Hold on a second.
Compared to solid waste debris.
Solid waste would be just that, garbage.
Trash, I
Yeah.
understand that, but that's what I'm saying, what would be the defining difference?
Well, I didn't think we asked for construction, did we?
Well, we're gonna have to because
Nope.
the district's not taking it.
Yeah, but we don't
What's
have
the,
to, we don't
what's the
have to
difference
take it.
between solid waste?
We're
compared to-
looking at cans and bottles, we're looking at cardboard, and we're looking at paper.
Right, we're not looking at.
To expand to
Yeah, we're not
electronics and all that stuff, no, I
No,
don't think.
construction
I
waste.
certainly didn't ask for it.
The thing says you will, well, we were in the past buying to the district. We gave them a place to get rid of it,
Yeah,
but
but
now,
on this bid, what we're asking is what is the difference between municipal solid waste at 175 and then disposal price per ton at 100 compared to construction demolition debris at 175 with $100 per
Yeah, are
ton?
they talking about 2
What are
containers?
they 2 different containers, or are they same thing, or what,
yeah,
which one?
Which?
Same or different?
the construction debris has to be in a different trailer. You can't put it all in the same container.
Right, but we don't,
Anyways, in other words, if you tear a shed down,
but we don't,
Right, but we don't do that now.
construction.
no, but what I'm saying, no, because you can go to the district, but you're not going on them all.
I understand, but that doesn't mean we need to take construction up here. We don't have to expand our transportation to take construction debris, they can take it to Warrensburg.
You read that thing from Steve.
We don't have the room up there for 5 more dumpsters. We can't take batteries and fluorescent bulbs and all
The
that
thing
stuff.
is, no, they can, as far as that goes, they can, contract with them to bring a container in, he'll pick it up.
Yeah, because I mean,
and then
the
you pay for it, whoever does it.
The RFP that I
Yeah, but
put out is
you're
based.
not understanding what I'm asking. We're asking construction and demolition debris. I'm not gonna tear my house down and bring it all over to the Townshend Highway Department and dump it off in a dumpster.
No, but you made to redo your kitchen.
Yes, but I still am not gonna. I'll bring it out back and dig a hole, but my point
Yeah,
is,
well, see, that's,
my point is that we're not bringing our construction debris down to the town highway department.
The request for proposal was for paper, goods, and for bottles and cans, basically what we have now.
but he
Because we don't have we don't have the room to expand the station or the manpower to manage it.
Well, and containers aren't on this.
Cost to do it, not necessarily you gotta do it.
Okay, well, he offered, right, he threw it in there, and if that's what the
Yeah.
quote is, that's fine.
But we don't have anything here. that
About
tells-
recyclables.
About recyclables. We don't have, a single stream recyclable number. We don't
Or
have mixed
commingled or
paper.
mixed paper.
We have cardboard,
Like a construction debris.
yeah, and solid waste, which we weren't asking for.
Request for quotes, hauling and disposal of recycled materials. Objective, Town of Townsend soliciting pricing from
I'm
qualified
confused.
haulers to provide hauling service and disposal of recycled materials commencing July 1st. From January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2016, Townsend generated 40 tons of paper, 30 tons of cardboard, and 42 tons of mixed containers. Bottles and cans. That's what we're looking for.
And none of that is on here except cardboard.
Okay.
No, this one doesn't.
Everybody's got the same thing, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it was 4
Okay.
copies of the
Yep.
same thing. This is the original. and-
Well, let's hold that one aside, see what the other one looks like. Just does.
So I'm,
But it says down here, Laura, this is good enough.
yep,
Specification for acceptable levels of contamination of recyclables and associated fees.
right, so.
Yeah, but that's-
5% acceptance on contamination.
Right, that, what they're talking about is they're allowing up to 5% contamination of cans in trash. So recyclables in regular trash.
No, I don't think so.
No,
'cause
am I
they're not-
am I reading
they're
it wrong?
separately
Containers.
set.
No, it's for the morons that can't
Right,
get it
you
right,
don't
look
have
at
to
the
be
thing, and
separate
can't put the
containers,
plastic
no.
in the metal, and the metal in the plastic, and the
Right.
bags in the metal, and the bags in the
Right.
plastic, and all the other
We're
crap
going
that
nowhere
goes
fast,
on
people.
with it.
Okay.
That's for the dum-dums that
Okay.
can't get that figured
But
out.
that's what, this single stream recyclables, but there's nothing on that.
That's my point.
That's what we're-
That's
that's what
why
we're
I'm very
saying.
confused. Okay, so now we have
Whether
what,
you're gonna stay dual stream or what, or if he thinks you're gonna get just a cardboard.
He submitted a bid for everything except what we asked for.
okay, so now the next one is for triple T. So, 2 copies that way, 1 copy down there, and you and I'll share the original, how's that?
And then we'll go back and put them in the minutes, depending on what you want to record.
Okay, so this one, we actually have a bid. On the single stream recyclables is 140.
That's 140 a ton, or,
It says the price, that's the price of the
Price per
haul.
haul,
And
okay.
it's $40 per ton,
Handling and processing.
okay, plus $40 for handling and processing.
okay, so let's go back again. 140 for hauling,
Yes,
and
and
then,
$40 per ton for handling and processing.
okay, and then 40 plus 40 per ton. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And contamination is 2% by weight.
Okay, so they're saying single stream, which means you can put your cardboard in with your paper.
Yeah.
In with your paper and in with your bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to do
I don't
it.
know what that
yeah,
is.
Weight or volume.
Okay.
Throw the food in there too.
And there's this tipping fee of $100 per ton. So does that make it, does that make it $240 a ton to get rid of it?
Yeah, the way I read that is if it's over 2%, the tipping fee is another 100 a ton.
So you need,
Right.
you need an attendant that's watching everything that goes in
Exactly.
there so that you don't have the contamination. So we're not gonna generate more than 2% in food scraps, but you can't put your food in there more than 2%. That's one.
Were we changing your job description?
No, you have.
No, you volunteered a couple
You have
meetings ago to
people-
be
you have
the
people for-
trash cop.
You have people for attendants that want the job, and we have another one too, but I won't say her name on.
Yeah, with the price per ton, your hauling cost, just the hauling cost,
There's
140.
Yeah, plus,
Then you've got, $40 a ton, the, disposal fee.
so we have 3 containers up there. I would say that 2 are changed out every week. So you're looking at, even if you go single stream, you're looking at filling 2, and if people recycle more, you're looking at filling 2 containers. That's $280 for the hauling, plus another $80 for the tonnage.
Tipping, yeah.
Assuming they weigh 1 ton apiece, and they don't, but assuming they do. So you're up to $260 a week, times 52, you're looking at about 12 grand a year. Just to have it hauled, which is what Windham
But
Solid is
that's only
doing now
one,
for
that's
free.
only 1 ton.
Well, that's assuming 1 ton per container, 2 containers a
Okay.
week.
Right.
And they're probably, by the time you mix it, they might be a little more than that. But in any case, you're looking at 12,000, which is what Windham Solid Waste now is doing just for their assessment cost at 15,000 or 16,000. I mean, this is gonna be
Right.
expensive. And then you throw
Yeah.
another 5,000 or 6,000 in food scraps in there, you're up to
Yeah.
20. plus you still have your tipping
Plus
fees
you-
for your
for
household
the-
stuff,
yeah.
which is 20.
Yeah.
Subtract out what the bag sales, you know, taxpayers gonna take a hit.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna increase the bag sales. Double them, almost double them. That'll
The
be
bag
up to-
prices.
That'll be up to $4 and change. I mean, just
Just might as well
rough
round it up to
calculating.
5.
Huh?
So well, then you might as well round it up to 5.
Well, yeah, that's just rough calculation, but if you're into it, if a purple bag costs $4,
Yeah.
Then
The
something-
question becomes, at what price do people just stop?
well,
using them
at
and
what
start
price does
doing
curbside
themselves?
pickup become attractive? Which is at your convenience, and
Right.
not the convenience of the town, 2
Well, I
days a
think
week.
when we talked about it, didn't we figure out that curbside ended up being convenient at like $25 a bag?
Well, no, if you have curbside for the town, I mean, if individuals are left on their own, then you stop
Right.
selling bags.
Oh,
get
you
rid
mean
of
on
them.
their own, not,
Right.
not by the
Right.
time? Good, okay.
But if I'm
Not
looking,
necessarily. Vernon still sells bags, and that's what pays for it, Brattleboro does.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm saying, it does not necessarily, but it doesn't say we have to.
Oh, no, I don't think the town is gonna go and
Yeah,
kick in
people
toward
can-
curbside for residents. I'm
Each
just saying.
resident,
Right.
If we go out of the business, then people have to look at
Right.
curbside at $40 a month or some break thereof, 35
Mm-hmm.
maybe, if we get enough volume. The alternative is we have to begin to pay something on the order of 15, 16, 18,000 a year just for the recycling itself. That can't be tax money.
no,
You have to pay for that with the sale of bags, so that's gotta be part of your household expense. We're doing 20 grand a year in household trash. Take the food out of it, still you're doing 20,000 a year in household trash.
yeah, they're still debating that food business.
The
So you're gonna
20,000 a
take
year
food
in,
out of
hou-
what,
the
22?
20,000 a year in household trash is being paid for by bags at $2.50.
Right.
And that covers Arnold's wages because that's on top of the tipping fees and everything else.
Right.
So you're looking at adding another 20 grand, you're looking at $4 and change per
Yep.
bag. And that gets pretty pricey.
Right.
I mean, 250 is pricey enough, but it's still pocket change. But $4 is starting to look like real money at the end of the week.
Yeah, $4 you can't take out of your couch.
And there again too, reading the cover letter for this, for Triple T, I mean, they're also talking about the threshold, and if we exceed the threshold, then they will be charging out the solid waste rate of $105 a ton for anything they pull out that's basically not supposed to be in the recyclables. So, I mean, there's hidden
I'll
stuff.
recommend that we not
Right.
record too much of this other than we receive these. They do have prices, but the board members need to study this before the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we're not comparing apples and apples
No.
here. And you only have 2 bids.
right.
And we
This
don't-
one.
And one is not really.
No, but I sent out 7 requests and you got 2 back.
Okay.
That tells you the interest level.
Possibly.
Well, the only thing I'm concerned about is waiting too long to actually address this. These two are the originals. This makes-
I got these, and this RFQ is directly from Windham Solid Waste, so everybody should have gotten the same
Uh-oh.
thing. Except for the fact that
Yeah.
they're transferred. Check, is it a check?
I got a thumb drive.
It's on disc.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Maybe there's a movie.
I said that. That's empty. Cool. So you've got two
We got
bid
a movie to
proposals.
watch
You got 2 bid proposals and a thumb drive.
with a virus on it.
Probably. Sure snap, not mine.
All right,
Yes, we do. You all have, you don't have, Rob doesn't have a copy to be able to look at.
I'll
Of
go
which?
through.
Okay. We can't wait too long to actually start
I'll have,
dealing with this because we have to make the voters aware of what the changes are going to be, if there are going to be any changes.
or
With
what
enough
options the
time-
voters have to vote on.
we got 2 months.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna have any options to vote on because
Yeah,
I,
sure.
But I
for
say,
Jackson.
before the 2 months are up, you've gotta have a decision and have somebody do it.
you know, and one of the biggest concerns is if there's gonna be a major change, people need to have time to adjust to that major change, whatever that change may
Yeah.
be. If we decide we're going to get out of the business altogether, for example, then they need,
We need to sell about 15,000 bags in a hurry. real
I
quick.
thought we just were gonna sell the truck.
Want to sell the bags.
but, you know, we can't push it much longer than the next meeting if we're gonna have
Yeah, it
time.
can't change overnight, it can't be, you know,
We have to give them
Yeah.
some type of heads
Put a
up.
padlock, put a padlock on the gate, you mean?
I mean, even with going to the bag sales, we gave them a good 2 months head notice that was coming with the big purple signs that said, buy your bags,
Mhm.
$2.50. They were out at the dump, they were here at the town hall.
Let's screw them out of the wall on the building there, 20 feet up.
We need to make sure that people are aware that something is different.
And even then, we got,
So that kind of took care of the transfer station's future too. We have to
So, let's see.
decide it pretty much at the next meeting.
yeah.
Okay. Budget status update, you have a yellow-faced
Yeah.
sheet that gives you a rough idea of where we are so far this year. With spending, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, that's one thing we didn't talk to Kurt about. Nobody mentioned it was a liquid chloride.
no, I
Oh, right.
don't think he's ordered it yet. There's a half a tank and a half a tank up there right now. So basically, you've got one full tank, you got about $1,800 worth or something.
So anyway, on the budget status report, if you take a gander at it, just to see if anything really jumps out at you, there was nothing unusual that I noticed in it, other than. you know,
And as things get closer, you'll get
supplies.
them a little more often.
Right.
Toward the end of the year, you're at about 75, you should be at about 75% across the board. Some things are high, some things are low. But in general, we're okay. I mean, there's not gonna be a big surplus at the end of the year. And some things are, like I say, high. Individual
Well,
line items are high.
Talking about the liquid
Insurance
chloride, you've got materials and supplies in there, we've spent 111,000 of 120 we budgeted. So if we put more, we buy more liquid chloride between now and the end of the fiscal year, we're going to exceed the materials budget
Right.
severely.
Well, yeah, you've got other things to pay for too. I mean, you've got Old Patch, you've got,
Just
you got the
FYI.
Plum Road materials coming.
Only if the trees fall on
That's gonna be
top
about
of
10 grand.
it. Okay. Only if the trees fall on top of it. Then we do have a liquor license for, who is calling?
Windham Hill, I think, right?
Yeah, Brattleboro Corporation.
I should note that I have worked there a few times, so I should probably recuse myself.
Not up for a vote yet, you need a motion.
Sorry.
Right.
I'd make a motion to accept B Borough Corporation's,
They're basically doing business as Windham Hill,
yes, them too,
yeah,
for first, second class liquor license, first class.
first class.
First class. They're a little late this year.
Is there a second for that? Is there any discussion on it, other than Will needs to recuse himself from the vote? No?
You drank up there, did you?
Huh?
You drank up there, did you?
No, just some fill-in shifts up there once in a while.
Just kidding.
Second class, right?
No, it's first
It's first
class.
class.
First class, I mean, that's the liquor and beer bottle.
That's to serve,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
But inside only.
all right, so hearing no other discussion on that, all those in favor of approving the first-class liquor license for B Borough Corporation doing business as Windham Hill Inn, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
No abstaining.
Okay, motion passes with one abstention, so. I guess we need to fill in the date and all that garbage, we'll just do our piece of this. Okay, Irving, we need you to sign there. You haven't done any tobacco licenses this year, that's odd. For
I
either
don't
of the
think
stores.
I don't think they turn over at the same time.
Thought they did both, I remember delivering packages.
I know the liquor licenses are all May 1st, right? But I don't know
Yeah.
if tobacco is the same, is on the same timeframe.
You're gonna go on Renegade.
Maybe some, no, he can,
I
sign it.
abstain.
Yeah, no, they must have, they usually do by April 1st.
Yeah, because I know, when I took the packages out, I used to take them out as both. To different places. Alright, so let's see, he needs to keep all of this, including my thumb drive, and that. Alright, so that's taken care of. Are there any, have we had any luck finding additional people to serve on the, as municipal officers?
I have not had any luck on that.
No, there's still a whole list of positions to fulfill.
I almost got the cat across the street.
The cat across the street?
Yeah,
Okay,
but no.
no dice, huh? Alright,
I do still have a couple of irons in the fire in that regard.
okay, because
Well,
there's,
keep pounding the pavement.
Yeah,
Senior Solutions is one that we really need to find a rep for, and, what's the other one? Windham Regional.
Windham Regional.
Those two in particular, we need to,
You want the comparative.
oh.
Can't remember what you're looking at, highway something.
I don't know.
It was the,
Repaving?
yes,
Yeah,
paving numbers from last year.
Highway, bottom of the first page, maybe the top of the second.
retreatment, yeah, the budget for 18, so there's 100 grand in there. Okay, so that answers that question. All right, so we've then finished with, no, we have no new appointments that we've been.
You have no
done.
new appointments now.
We just made mention of the fact we need Senior Solutions and Windham Regional.
Wyndham Regional's after us every day.
I know, I get the
I know,
same.
Yeah.
I know you do, I keep saying,
Yeah.
I'm not the chair of the select board.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, anyway, yeah, no, that one needs to be.
Anyway,
That one's done.
the other business with Jamaica? You wanna
Yes,
deal with that?
Joel Blooming came in, he's a new select board member from Jamaica, he stopped in today. He, being a new member of the select board up there, has some interest in the open meeting law. Hasn't, you know, he believes it has a lot of nuances in it and a lot of, well, depth of meaning to it as well. And what he has done apparently, or he and other select board members up there, but anyway, he's talked to the LCT. They're willing to come down and have a meeting with the Jamaica Select Board and advise them, have a VLCT, Vermont League of Cities and Town attorney come down to advise and discuss the open meeting law that the legislature passed 3 years ago. I believe there have been some minor changes to it, but substantively it's pretty much the same as it was 3 years ago. And he was trying to find out, Townsend was his first stop, but he was gonna discuss it with area towns in Windham County and maybe beyond, to find out if other towns in the southern tier would be interested in joining them in a joint meeting. The cost of the meeting is $415. Right now, it doesn't look like that meeting would take place anytime before the end of May, probably in June. We're about 60 days out. That having been said,
Now, are they paying us 415 new attendants?
yeah,
or
it's
we have to pay them?
$415 a piece that you get, plus they're gonna cater the meeting, and it'll be, right. So whatever Irv just bleeped out, I said, I won't say it again. But in any case, he was just trying to, I told him when he stopped in today, and I thanked him for the offer, and I said I'll bring it to the board. If any of you have an interest in that, we can certainly get in touch with Jamaica, or I can give you his number if you'd like more information. They would be looking for towns to share the cost, but if he gets 4 or 5 towns together, it might be a big joint meeting. I know that some of board members here have had depth of experience with the open meeting law and its consequences.
I have no experience, but I live in constant fear of it. Yeah, I personally.
Richard over here is our solution to the open meeting.
Exactly. I personally think it would be a very good idea, assuming that enough towns can get put together to keep the cost to something reasonable. But I personally would be interested in doing that. I don't know if any of the other members would be or not.
Minimal interest.
Keep going down the table. Maybe if somebody wants to pursue this, we'll probably need a motion to do it on behalf of the board, because not
Right, we
be,
can't do it individually,
to
correct?
not be in violation of the open meeting law, we will have to have it noted and warned that we are attending a joint meeting in Jamaica, so it would have to be a board function.
Right,
So,
Yeah,
And I will say that with most of these
there's more
meetings,
than two
and
people.
many members of the select board get emailed on an almost daily basis, but many times a week for requests for these meetings, training sessions, things like that. If you can find anybody that'll come down from Montpelier, Waterbury, Burlington area to Brattleboro, that's doing pretty well. Most of the meetings are north of Rutland.
Oh, yeah.
And
like Morley.
Lake Morley, sometimes Bennington.
Sometimes Rutland.
So, anyway, this may not even, I mean, if enough towns got together, they might like the town hall here, which would make it even more convenient. But in any case, I do have his name and I do have his number. If you guys would like more information about it or want to talk to him about it, we can certainly accommodate that.
yeah, I would move to pursue it further and look at further based on, primarily on cost and participation of other towns.
It is raining, yes.
No, we're in the Atlantic.
Well, let me give you his name and number.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get in touch with them.
So he made a motion, is there a second for the motion?
Second.
Is there any more discussion on it?
Are they just talking about the,
They're
Open
gonna,
meeting law?
they're gonna talk about this book.
so they're gonna basically pound every rule right
Pretty
down the
much.
throat? Yeah,
Pretty
I'm all
much.
set. I don't need any more rules. It's stuff down the throat.
Pretty much.
But your motion is just to gather more information and
Yeah.
just kind of work, see how things.
See how it
might
works
be.
out.
Yeah, just see, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so there was a
See what the
second.
level of interest
Yeah.
is, and then we can make a decision if
Okay.
it gets closer.
And then no further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of pursuing, finding out more information on this topic, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Did you vote?
No.
Well, you got to be a one or no, a yes or no, or maybe.
Oh, I don't mind pursuing seeing what it is, but I don't need to
Well,
sign
you're,
up.
you're not having to right now, all you're doing is
So that's a
pursuing.
yes.
Okay, then the motion passes. So who's going to pursue that?
Thank you. Well, actually, it brings up an interesting, what is our contribution to the Vermont League of Cities and Towns?
In what capacity? We also buy our insurance from them, so that helps, but we are a member league.
Okay.
And our contribution is, actually Kathy, you can get a number off your budget sheet.
Well, you don't even make me look it up.
No, it's just.
Pool night every Wednesday at the local eatery.
I always got the wrong one with me right now.
Well, I gave you a comparative, but you can, it's under select board VLCT dues, so that's on page 2 of your,
Next year's?
of your budget sheet. Not next year's, this one. It's gonna be page 2 because of the cover sheet. Keep going. So somewhere in there it should say VLCT dues. I do believe that'll be close to the number. Sound right, select board?
2,400.
Oh, let me tell you. The insurance part of it.
Yeah, he did, he found it, he's right,
Huh?
he's right. It's 2,400 and we haven't paid it yet.
I thought we paid
Oh,
it
okay.
in installments.
Yeah.
I believe we do.
All I know is at this point in time, it
Yeah,
shows
no,
we paid
it
none.
shows it isn't paid yet, it's VLCT dues.
Okay.
So, subject to verification, I'll see if it isn't posted somewhere else, because I thought it was a little more than that. That said,
And then if we invite them, if we wanted them to come down and talk to us, like, I'm about to be in contact with one, I've been playing phone tag with her, about the town manager, town administrator.
Who are you talking to?
I
is it
don't,
an attorney, or is it,
it's one of the people at VLTC, it's
yeah,
not,
okay. They have attorney, they have legal,
Right.
so they have a municipal, well, they have a number of people there for advice.
yeah, I was just curious, so when they do discussions, they charge fees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
They do.
all right.
All right, so is there anything else under other business? No? Then hearing none, I'll entertain a motion under 1 VSA section 313A3 to discuss the evaluation of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
313A3.
Hearing none, all those in favor of moving into executive session to discuss the evaluation of a public employee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes, so it's
About 7:12.
about 7:12. I will just mention that the next regular meeting is May 9th. I will be coming home that day from the Virginia-Pennsylvania border. I do not know if I'll make it back in time for the meeting, so it may be all your ball of wax, sir.
She's usually in great shape when she gets
I am,
back.
I'm always, I feel like I've been run over by an 18-wheeler and I've got the patience of not very many patients of. So,
There is a public hearing tomorrow night here upstairs, your
Yeah,
new town
planning
plan. Right, and previous board members got copies of the town. Did you get a copy of the town plan? The proposed new draft? All right, it'll be coming to you hopefully within a few days. But anyway, they're gonna have a hearing on that tomorrow night. The planning commission's been working on it for a couple of years, and the public hearing is tomorrow night. So, and then it comes to the select board for your perusal and your review. So if there are any, changes that happen up there, then we'll get it modified and give it back to you, and I'll highlight the changes
I
from last time you got it
plan on
back.
going.
okay, so is there anything else?
Nope.
Then hearing none, we'll recess it.
One more. There is, no, there is.
Didn't I ask if there was more?
Yeah, well, I was just saying, there is the hearing for the tax abatement, not tax abatement, the property owner versus town of Townsend with the hearing officer, coming up on the 4th, I believe it is. Yes. You all got an email to that effect, those who get email, those who did.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so then at 7:15,
Make it 7:15.
okay, we'll have a short recess, and then we'll go into executive session.